everyone, this is Chris. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, we're going to do some fabric painting, and you're going to see it's not only very easy to do, but also very addictive, and I love doing this. So I'm just going to show you a few samples here. These are tries actually that I have done on a t-shirt. You can do this on almost any kind of fabric as long as it's real fabric like cotton. You could do this on jeans, you could do this on a bag if you wanted to, but if you're doing it on fabric, you really need to have some fabric paint, and I'll go there in a minute. So I've tried these with different kinds of stencil to see what works best. So you can make flowers, you can make any kind of drawings or paintings, and it's really nice even on a colored t-shirt like I have here. This is a light color, and I have another example here on a darker color, but it's also very easy to do. So here I've done it on a very dark blue, and it's the same thing, it's the same paint. I didn't buy a specific paint for dark colors. The only thing I did here was first painting all my flowers here and my bird. I used a stencil, I painted everything in white. I let it dry. It dries very quickly in about 5 to 10 minutes depending on the temperature of your room. And then I put my stencil back on top. Don't leave your stencil. I put my stencil back on top when it's completely dry, and I came over with the colors I wanted. So it's just one more step when you're doing this with dark colors. Otherwise, you might have to use special paints for dark colors, which I think is a shame because they're the same colors, so why buy more? If I can make you save you some money, it's even better. And I did some little spots here and there. Let me zoom a little, just a little bit, I'm not sure. Yes, now you can see the little spots here. So I'm not going to give you any brand for your fabric paint because I think all of them are just great. And I know that some of you are going to say, okay, but can I use just acrylic? Well, normally just acrylic paint on fabric is not the best because you need to have a special medium to fix the color or the acrylic to your fabric. So if you use, and you can buy these fabric mediums and you can mix them, but I think it's a bit more complicated because you're going to have to mix this medium with all of your colors. So if you're doing, you know, several t-shirts at a time, what I would consider doing, because once one is drying, you can keep on coloring another one. You're going to have to use a little bucket or a little bit of paint on a plate. Take your medium, mix your paint with it, and then go to the other color and do that to all your colors. And with your leftovers, what are you going to do with them? They're going to be lost. So when you buy directly fabric paint, you can work directly from the bottle. You don't have to mix anything, and when you're over, you just close your bottle and you're done. You're not going to waste anything. So I prefer buying specific fabric paint for this. So I'm going to show you what I have used, but I'm not sure you can find these depending on the country you are. You know that I just moved before I was living in South America, so this is acrylics. You can find these very easily in South America, maybe in the United States or in other countries because not only Americans are watching, but otherwise any fabric paint. Martha Stewart does some, and other brands, maybe Plaid as well. Otherwise you have also this brand which is called Tulip, and they come in these little bottles, and you have this tip on the top of it. You can squeeze a little bit off onto a plate, and you can also use this for your stencils. I would not use it directly with stencils, but you can use these as well. They're fine, and some of them are also three-dimensional. So that could be also another way to use your tulip paint if you have. You will need some stipple brushes. They're stiff and they're very specifically done for stencils. If you're doing wall stencils, that's also what you're going to use. Some people use sponges. I don't like sponges because you tend to put too much, and the coating is not regular, it's not even. So these are really made for that, and you don't have to buy a very expensive one online or on Amazon or any other places. You can have 3 or 4, maybe sometimes 5 for a few bucks. And this is also what I use when I do card making. And I use these to put in my ink, and I just have a light brush, a light color when I want to use my inks and some stencils also on my card. I use this, not the same one, these are specific for my paint, but they're exactly the same brand that I use also for my card making with stencils. So you will need to use this. You will also need a bucket of water just to use your brushes if you want to change color. I've got enough, so I just use one color, and I've started, so I didn't clean them yet, but you will need a bucket of water to clean your brushes. Something very important is that you should not use water with your fabric paint, because if you put water on your fabric and then you put your paint on it, it goes like watercolor. The water is going to spread on your t-shirt, then you're going to put the color and it's going to follow the water and it's going to spread apart. So if you're trying to do something very specific with a very nice like a flower, and you have 5 petals, if you put water on it, it's going to look like a mess. So don't use water, just to clean your brushes and then dry your brush perfectly before using it. Also, normally all your colors here, if you use the same brand, you can mix them. If you want to have a darker pink or if you want to have an orange, you can mix the colors. They mix well. And you can also use all kinds of stencils for this. More closed one, very detailed, more open ones. All of them would work perfectly. And also you need to clean them as much as you can as soon as you're over with this. But I will talk about this a little later. So now I'm going to use it's a piece of rag actually, but if you're doing this on a brand new t-shirt, so again, it would be more like cotton, real fabric, 100% cotton if you can, or as much cotton as you can, jeans, also burlap, it would work perfectly. Also all kinds of linen, it would be excellent for bags. I would love that, yes. And that would be nice, but clean them first, especially t-shirts. You know, when t-shirts are brand new, they have some kind of coating on it, so before wearing it, usually we wash them. It's the same thing for your paint. It's better if you wash them if they're brand new, and then you iron it. Mine is not ironed, but it's much better, because if you put your stencil on something that has some creases, and it's not going to be perfect when you're going to iron it later on. So iron it so it's really well stretched, and then you're just going to put your stencil. So I might just do a flower, and I'm going to do a bigger one here for the purpose of the video so you'll see better. And also what is important is that you could do also some cushions with this. Why not? The outside of a pillow, for example. Use something to put inside. I have used here some cardboard, so I'm not going to contaminate the other side of my t-shirt. This side here, yes, but the other piece, the back of my t-shirt if you prefer. So I really try to stretch it. I didn't iron it, I have to admit, but it's just a rag, so it's just an example. And now we're going to start. So I'm going to take one of the colors, I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to start by doing pink. So I have different sizes here, because if you have a large opening, you can use a larger stencil brush. And if you have some more details one like this one, there's little opening. It's much easier if you use a smaller little stencil brush, okay? You're going to have more details. No need, because you're going to waste your paint if you put paint on this and you're going here just in that spot. It's no need. So I'm going to do this one, the open one, and I'm going to start with maybe, and I said some pink. So what I like to do with these bottles is before I open them, I like to shake them, so I'm sure that the medium inside is going to mix really well with the paint. So I just give it a little, how do I say, shake. And I'm going to use one of my paintbrush, and I like to use directly from the cap because I know that I'm not going to put too much on my paintbrush. No need to put too much. It's going to take longer to dry, and if you think you're putting more because the coverage is not good, you don't have to go thick. You can always come back when it's dry, put your stencil on top of it again and restart it, or maybe just change color. So I'm going to start here, and I took a medium small size brush because my petals are not that big, and really staple. Don't try to brush. Don't do this, because if you brush it, your paint is going to go under your stencil, and your petals, in case here it's a flower, are not going to be really well defined. So you really need to think about stapling, tapping, 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 and not brushing. That's important. So you don't even have to have special skills for this. You don't have to be a painter, know how to draw. Absolutely not. You just need to know how to stipple. And maybe what I would recommend is training on a piece of rag like I'm doing right now, just to get used to it, to see how your paint reacts, see if you did it right or not, if you put enough paint. Don't be scared. Oh, one more thing I would recommend is protecting your own clothes, because if you have some paint on your clothes, your own clothes that you don't want to paint, and you didn't see it soon enough and it dried out, it's going to be impossible to take away. So maybe wear an apron or something just to cover up your clothes when you're doing this, just in case, you know, you're talking or you're doing this with your kids and there's a paintbrush falling, or you never know what can happen. So protect your clothes with this. That's really important. It happened to me, so you know. So I'm just doing this. I'm not going to do the whole flower because otherwise this video is going to be super duper long. But I'm going to show you something. Is you've got different methods with this. Is that right now, before it's even dry, what I can do, and I'm not going to right now put this one into water because I have enough paintbrush just to have different colors. I'm going to take an orange color. This one is maybe a bit too big. I'm going to go with another one that is a bit smaller. I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to take my orange color, and I'm going to go on top, directly on top of my pink. And I'm going to try to blend a little bit these colors. You can blend them as much or little as you wish. If you do it on dry paint, the orange is going to be brighter. But if I want it to be brighter, I just can put more paint directly now if I wanted to. So you can do both. Come over directly when it's dry, or wait until it's while it's wet, sorry, or wait until it's dry and come back on top. So I'm gonna call this one done for now, and before it dries, don't leave your stencil on top. When you're over with your flower and you're okay with it, just take your stencil off, and this is what it looks like. Okay, I hope I was not too far away. I tend to be sometimes too close, but this is what it looks like. And I blended, and I could even blend more. Take your time when you do this. I'm going fairly quick, but you see how the flower can start building up, and you could come back again. Also, before applying, if you want to use another color, another flower, the same flower, I would recommend you cleaning this stencil before, because sometimes, I don't know if I did here, but sometimes you have some paint on the other side of your flower, and when you're going to put it down, it's going to transfer to your fabric, and it's going to stain it. So I would recommend cleaning it well with just soapy water and a sponge. Be careful not to rip it apart, that's it. And cold water, not hot, no use, and you clean it up. It might stain a little bit your stencil, but that's fine. As long as it's clean, it's okay. So you can do this over and over again. This is what I've done here with my butterfly. I didn't wait until it was dry to put my other color on top of my pink, and it's gorgeous. So if you really wanted to, you're not happy with it, just come back, and I'm not going to do it because my paint here is not dry, but I could completely come back in a few minutes when it's dry, align my stencil with my flower, and come back over and change everything if I want to. I can even do another color. Why not if I don't like the result of it? That's what I did with the dark color. I first put my stencil down, put white, let it dry, and came back a few minutes later and applied a second coat of all the colors I wanted. It's really easy. Imagine you've got your kids with some stained t-shirt, a little stain, but he loves it. He doesn't want you to throw it away. I'm sure you know what I mean. You know, that really old yucky t-shirt they love. Well, you could maybe put a little flower on the stain, or if it's a boy, a star, or anything else. You've got a whole bunch of stencils out there. They're not that expensive. So you could hide the stain with some fabric paint. That would be great. You could also do a jacket, completely made by yourself. Nobody else is gonna have the same, and I can tell you it's completely addictive. You could do this on a scarf. You know, it's gonna be autumn very soon, so yeah, why not? On bags. I just love it. I think it's so addictive. I did this with my students. They loved it. I'm gonna use this color because I really think it's beautiful. Be careful with your hands. Make sure your hands also are clean. And I'm going to do just one more. This flower is a little different, so let's see what it's going to look like. I haven't used this one yet. And some stencils are, especially the plastic one, they might be, when you clean them, be careful not to tear them apart, especially when they're detailed like this one. There's the outer line of the petal, and then you have to come inside. You can also press like this your brush to really go in there. If it's really tiny like this. Sorry, I probably have my hands in the way, but don't see how much I could do differently. So yeah, this one is a little harder to do, but again, take your time. Use the right brush for this, a small one. And I would probably wait to come inside here. I would do the outline maybe first, or the inside, whatever, and then wait until it's dry and do the outline again. The inside, the part you didn't do the first time, that's what I mean. Because here I can see it's very delicate to do it. So really take your time, and I'm sure it will be nice. You can practice again, practice on a rag before to see if you really like it, if it's not too hard, especially when you're a beginner. Let's see what it looks like. It's not perfect because my petals inside here, the problem is, you see, they're moving. They're not, you see, so it's not easy. So this is why stapling is really important and not brushing. But there you go, and I will be doing some little decorations using this technique of fabric painting, because it's really fun to do. And I think I'm going to try to do a bag very soon. I need to find a bag, a linen bag or something, or just cotton, and paint it. It would be wonderful. Placemats, that's another idea. Why not placemats? You can have fun with a lot of ideas like this. So if you like this idea, I would really recommend giving it a try. You can do this with your friends, invite them to have a t-shirt party, painting party home. That will be great. And you can share also your stencils, so you don't have to buy too many. It's also very economical this way. So please, if you like this video, give me some thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button to get all the notifications, and also share on social media. Thank you very much, and see you soon with another project where I'm going to be using all of these fabric paints and designs. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.